Major changes are coming to campus, and it's not just the class of 2018.
Festivus makes national news, but how does the university look after ELN students get down and dirty?
Painting their way to a degree, we dispel the myths of art students.
You're watching ELN Local News.
You're looking at video of the hallway in the School of Communications from about 3 hours ago.
Power's back on across campus, but students were in the dark for about an hour today. Thanks for tuning in to ELN Local News. I'm Katie Merrigue.
And I'm Brian Mazurski. Take a look at some of the video we gathered while the lights were out. Duke Energy says weather was the reason this student had to walk down the escalator today. The power company says their first reports of a blackout came from ELN. The close town of Gibsonville was the second to report lights out. Crews got the power back on in little over an hour.
And now, what the campus looked like. The Kangaroo next to the Oaks was closed. A sign on the door told shoppers the convenience store lost power. Hallways and dining halls across campus also lost power. All dining halls closed for food service. According to a tweet from ELN Dining Services, only Acorn Coffee Shop was open. But hallways throughout ELN were dark, and the lack of students made it seem like school was not in session. But some students were trying to do work when the power was out. We got their reactions.
The way the computers run, when you save things to the hard drive, it gets erased when the computer powers down. So if you didn't save your things to the U drive, it's gone.
And I'm just nervous because I know that a lot of students have, because I'm a senior, so a lot of my classmates have senior sem papers and massive things due this week. So I just really hope everyone's saved.
I have my capstone paper due today around 3:30, and I needed to get it off my computer before my computer died. Sitting in my apartment, have my computer plugged in, about to save it, and what do you know, the power goes out, about to go out, and it dies completely. So come on campus looking for some power, and of course there's nothing here.
And that student might have trouble turning in his paper late if communication professor Byung Lee is his teacher. Lee told us the effect of the blackout on his students and their capstone papers.
The deadline is the deadline, so there is no extension or any other kind of extension or
Me? Oh. ELN students were active on Twitter while the power was out. Let's take a look at some of those tweets. Shannon Miller AC joked, I study better anyways without lights. Shannon Popoff said, computer is dead, phone dying, in need of a shower, so I'll resort to napping. And finally, Katie Collar said, it's okay, we're used to rising from the ashes. She's referring, of course, to ELN's mascot, the Phoenix. Tweet us your videos or pictures of the blackout at ELN Local News and use the hashtag ELNBlackout2013. Let's switch gears now to the changes coming to ELN campus and community.
That's right, Katie. When we visit campus in a couple of years, things are going to look a little different. Our Joe Bruno is in the studio with more. Joe.
Well, Brian and Katie, you won't have to look hard to see those changes. The first of many will be right here in the School of Communications. Now, you are looking at an expanded view of our newly renovated studio. Well, just picture this in a couple years, looking even more fresh and new. Both this and the studio next door will be fit with glass. Think Today Show style. That will allow for the outside to see inside our production spaces. The goal for completion is 3 years from now, but that of course depends on funding. Now we're going to travel a little bit down the road from McEwen to get to this next new building. It's called the Scott Studios, and it's going to be ELN's newest performing arts facility. The facility is going to be home to a 3,200 square foot rehearsal hall, as well as a black box theater that will hold about 160 people comfortably. The new studio should be completed in October. Funding for the project was thanks to a lead gift by Don and Ellen Scott, parents of Teddy Scott, a 2010 graduate. And the last construction project is something you are going to hear first on ELN. We were able to confirm with the city planner that a private company is looking to build a luxury hotel within town limits. The hotel is planned to have a restaurant and a conference center. The city planner would not further comment, saying that there has been no public paperwork filed. We will continue to look into this and bring you the latest information as it becomes available. Katie, Brian?
Changes beyond the buildings are coming on the campus. There's a new registrar, and he's bringing changes to ELN. ELN's new registrar, Rodney Parks, told SGA he plans to replace the degree audit system on OnTrack with a newer program. The new degree audit would be more user-friendly and would let students make a 4-year plan online. They also plan to get rid of the maximum number of minors a student can have. And for all those minors, the registrar hopes to make diplomas bigger. Assistant Registrar Susan Patton says these changes have a purpose.
We are not making changes just to be making changes. We're making changes because we think we can serve the students and the faculty, the community in a much better way.
Changes are also coming to Elon's Greek life. Our John Hyland brings us the story.
To be recognized by Greek life, Elon's fraternities and sororities need to go through a new accreditation process. According to the Office of Greek Life, the program will evaluate organizations on 3 different performance levels: baseline, maroon, or gold. Baseline performance level is the lowest of the 3. Organizations must meet the lowest GPA standards, hold elections, and sign an anti-hazing agreement. The maroon performance level requires the chapter to have a scholarship program, host or attend a leadership workshop, and an alcohol awareness program. The highest level is gold. It requires chapters to have a program that recognizes the academic achievement and growth of members, have an annual goal planning retreat, community service, and a membership education program. Director of Greek Life, Shanna Plaster, says organizations that don't meet the minimum performance level requirements will deal with consequences like losing their on-campus houses.
If there are chapters that year after year after year are not making progress, ultimately that can have an impact on them because this will serve as the foundation for the housing review process.
The presentations are designed to make sure Greek organizations at Elon are meeting the standards of the university. John Hyland, Elon Local News.
The accreditation rankings will be used next fall when Greek housing undergoes evaluation.
Nationwide, the price of college tuition is on the rise, and Elon is no exception. Brennan McDavid has the story.
As the semester is coming to a close, some students will be saying goodbye to Elon for good, not because they're graduating.
Elon's tuition is set to increase 3.9% next year for a grand total of more than $40,000.
I kind of freaked out, to say the least.
Sophomore Elizabeth Jones made a deal with her parents.
If they paid for the first 2 years of Elon, I would pay for the second too.
And now that it's her turn to pay the bill, she faces a financial crisis.
I can't afford the school by myself. I can't do it.
For Jones and many students across the country, the expenses of higher education are becoming increasingly difficult to afford. According to College Board, the average rate of tuition growth at a 4-year public or private university is just above 4%. And for the majority of students, it's a guarantee that you won't be paying the same price going out as you did coming in.
By the time I graduate in 2014, tuition would have increased by almost $5,000 since my freshman year.
Although Elon has managed to remain below the 4% average, when added to the already pricey budget of a private university, it still has a large impact. For Jones, the decision was simple.
If I'm going to drown in debt, I'd rather not drown in, a sea of debt, rather a lake.
Jones will be transferring to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill next fall, a school that would cost her only a fifth of Elon's tuition. Brenna McDavid, Elon Local News.
In a letter to the university, President Leah Lambert said the increase in tuition will help hire new professors, upgrade health services available to students, and promote a new writing initiative.
Duke University joined 37 other colleges across the nation that provide coverage for gender reassignment surgery. Like at Elon, students at Duke are required to have health insurance. They can stay in their parents' plan, or they can take part in the school's insurance plan. Now, under Duke's plan, students seeking a transgender surgery can receive up to $50,000 of coverage. The additional cost will be covered by a 0.3% increase on health insurance, which the university says equals about $5.25 for students taking part in the plan. Elon does not cover the surgery, but Spectrum President Kevin Moore says that a plan like this could attract students.
Elon is a tricky place for certain individuals, but I definitely think that would be a step saying, hey, we are here to support you, and it would be a giant step by the university to show not only the students that go here, but potential students that may be transgender that are not thinking about coming here because of certain situations that may have happened. They may reconsider saying, wait, they are making a nice step towards, including people like me.
Students gathered outside of Mosley on Friday to share their passions. The Phoenix Passion event held members from organizations like Spectrum, Effect, and Sparks and encouraged students to get involved. Sophomore student Robbie Linklater told us why student activism is so important to these groups.
Because this is our passion. Phoenix Passion represents a lot of other social justice issues, and this is a social justice issue that's really important to express to the campus at large.
But the organizations who participated in Phoenix Passion aren't the only groups on campus rallying for an inclusive campus. Wake Up Elon says they're pushing for a more accepting campus culture. Last week, they created a thumbprint mural, having students pledge to help change the campus atmosphere. One of the creators of Wake Up Elon, Blake Thompson, expresses why we need to act now.
Once we get our 4 years, we're done. There's somebody else filling our spot. And we can't have these problems keep occurring with no transparency for our administration. We need things done now. We need things done tomorrow and things done for the future.
The church that started Elon College is celebrating its 250th birthday. The Providence Christian Church in Graham showed off a Bible owned by James O'Kelly, who is the founder of the church, this Sunday. Elon icon Dr. Earl Danley made the speech. This week's celebration was one of 9 the church is having this year. Find out after the break. And sculpting to success. We learn more about an artistic major.
Our inaugural season is coming to an end. We'll bring this year's highlights later in the show. An article on BroBible.com and Huffington Post put Elon in the national headlines. Our Jasmine Turner is in the studio with more. Jasmine?
Thanks, guys. Elon made headlines last week when the Huffington Post featured an article written about Festivus. The annual event brings Elon students together in a giant mud pit and is not an official university event. I spoke to sophomore Dean Shapiro, who is a part of the group of students that organizes the event, and about why he believes that it is a good thing for Elon students.
It just shows like a bunch of kids coming together and proving that they love their school. There's no riots, there's no like fighting. It's everyone just coming out and having a great time during the middle of the day to celebrate the spring semester and how much they love Elon's campus.
Shapiro says that the representative who wrote the article for Bro Bible was contacted almost every day for a month and received free airfare and housing to attend the event. I also spoke with the Associate Dean of the School of Communications, Ken Gaither, about how Festivus affects Elon's reputation as a university.
Festivus is a great idea in theory if it really is a community-based party and it brings together the entire Elon community. That part of it is great. But from an external perspective, there are many people who might not have heard of Elon, and when they hear about it within the context of a party, it really becomes a double-edged sword.
An interesting fact, Gaither actually taught one of the founders of Festivus in a PR class in 2008, and next year will mark the 10th anniversary of Festivus. Brian and Katie, back to you.
Thanks, Jasmine. An unusual part of Festivus was also featured in the same Bro Bible article. Our Caroline McSwain has the story.
You might have seen this picture before on the website Bro Bible. That's Jamie Fountain. He's been playing the bagpipes since he was 13 years old.
I had quit piano lessons and was looking for another instrument to pick up. My father worked with the guy who played the bagpipes and he offered to give me lessons, so I took him up on it. Turned out to be great.
Fountain recently showcased his special talent at Elon's annual Festivus event. That's where the Bro Bible picture was taken, and the crowd went wild.
People thought it was really funny. Naturally, it's Festivus, so there was a lot of yelling and whistling, but people seemed to love it, so it was a fun time.
Fountain hopes to play bagpipes for the rest of his life.
It's definitely something I want to continue throughout my life. It's a good way to make a little extra money on the side.
But for now, he's focused on schoolwork and applying to study abroad in Jordan. But his plans don't include taking the bagpipes overseas.
It'd be kind of hard to get through customs.
Caroline McSwain, Elon Local News.
Can't wait until next year to see Fountain? Check him out on Facebook and book the Bagpiper for your next event.
The annual Handmade Co-op has many vendors lining the streets. And this year, some of the vendors were also celebrating a special holiday. The Handmade Co-op brought hundreds to downtown Burlington on Saturday. This year's theme wasn't about the homemade goods, but about the upcoming Mexican holiday.
Doy las gracias por haberme invitado a esta comunidad que estamos representando lo del 5 de mayo.
Some of Burlington's Hispanic community was out on Saturday, getting ready for Cinco de Mayo. According to the 2010 census, 16% of Burlington residents are Hispanic. That's up from 10% in 2000. Nina Martinez was at the co-op selling something she says is vital to her culture.
Rosas representan el 10 de mayo, representan para fiestas de 15 años.
She says the flowers represent her homeland.
Color, símbolo, red, green, and white.
And educate the younger generation of a difficult time in Mexico's past.
Importante para enseñarles a nuestros hijos el símbolo que representamos en la batalla de Puebla en el 5 de mayo.
Martinez hopes the strength of the Hispanic community in Burlington inspires others to live in the area as well.
Dar algo fuerte para aquí en Estados Unidos, para nuestros hijos. Darles un ejemplo, hay que seguir para adelante.
Katie Marigny, ELN Local News.
The carnival was also in town this weekend, an ELN Carnival. Sub teamed up with Colonnades Resident Student Life on Friday to bring back Colonnades Carnival. The event featured carnival-style food and games like cotton candy, snow cones, balloon animals, and face painting. The event also featured music by freshman Jack Garneau and local band Derry, Miller, and the Varl. We spoke with Colonnades RSA representative Evan Miselli about why he thinks this event was so successful.
Well, we had heard about that there was one last year, so we were trying to do it again. It's like, well, let's make it a tradition. So we rolled with it, and I think we made it bigger and better than last year.
A major that might just be misunderstood. Christine Williams has a story.
Worthless, useless, regretful. These are a few of the descriptions that pop up when Googling the term art major. To some, the word artist can evoke an image that ELN art professor Ann Simpkins believes is unfair.
Do we have a lot who are sitting in empty garrets on the 3rd floor, pining away on paint? I don't know any like that.
Many artists pursue college degrees in art or art history. Since 2001, the number of art majors enrolled at ELN has remained fairly consistent.
But there's more to this major than just painting and sculpting.
There's more acceptance of the art major being a critical component of how they structure problem solving and how they are creative thinking.
You're learning to present, to research, to read, to create argument.
Art majors follow different career paths, from graphic design and museum directing to medicine and law, and Simpkins believes that what she is teaching is still useful.
I don't see that as a failure of art making, but rather an application of art making.
But as the world becomes more technological, Fells wonders if how he is currently teaching will be the way of the future.
Contemporary art has changed, and so teaching the traditional mediums in the traditional way seems more and more antiquated.
But there is one positive Fells sees going forward.
That stigma of being an artist is breaking down.
Christine Williams, ELN Local News.
ELN currently offers 2 art degrees, a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Studio Art and a General Bachelor of Arts.
After the break, Jamie Daphner will be in the studio with the latest on Aaron Millett's Road to the Pros. Stick with us.
I'm Jamie Daphner here with your sports update. Last week we shared Aaron Millett's journey to the NFL as the wide receiver was selected by the Baltimore Ravens with the 238th pick. Earlier this week, Millett traveled to Baltimore to sign his contract and report to rookie minicamp. Millett's deal is worth $2.2 million over 4 years with an average salary of $550,000. It's pretty good for after graduation. Now, the Ravens' official training camp does not start until mid-July, but in the meantime, Millett will work with his coaches to learn the playbook in addition to working out with his new teammates. The baseball team battled against ACC opponent Wake Forest at Latham Park on Wednesday. On the mound for the Phoenix was freshman Tyler Maynez. He struck out 6 but gave up 3 runs in his 4 innings of work. Ryan Kinsella had it going with the bats for ELN as he roped a single through the left side to bring in his SoCon leading 63rd and 64th RBI on the year. The junior is having an incredible campaign, but the Demon Deacons had more in the tank as they would power past ELN for a final score of 16-7. The softball team took on Chattanooga this weekend, sweeping the Mocs in all 3 games. The Phoenix won both of their games on Saturday, 6-4 and 2-1, and then were victorious again 4-3 on Sunday. Carly Nestor, Amanda Allen, and Grace Ng all hit home runs over the weekend, and Tamika Watson went 3 for 4 on Saturday with a stolen base. All 3 starting pitchers picked up wins, highlighted by Kayla Caruso, who pitched 7 scoreless innings for the Phoenix. Now let's take a look at what's coming up this week in sports. On Tuesday, the baseball team will face North Carolina A&T, and then over the weekend, will face Sanford in a 3-game series. The softball team has an exciting game coming up on Wednesday, as the team will travel to Greensboro to battle against the number 9 team in the country, Sanford, in the first game of the SoCon tournament. Make sure you take the short trip down I-85 to cheer on the ladies.
Thanks, Jamie. After the break, the best of ELN. We'll recap all the news that mattered to you this year, so stay with us.
It's been an interesting first year for Elon Local News.
Here's our recap of our top stories for the 2012-2013 school year. Give us a few minutes and we'll give you our unforgettable favorites, from top stories and how we shared them with you to some of our low moments. We have something for everyone, including a tribute to our departing leaders in this ELN Year in Review. Let's start our look with our top stories of the year. Before classes started, ELN was working hard to bring you everything you needed to know for election 2012.
I'm here at the Tampa Bay Convention Center.
Security presence here in Charlotte is very noticeable.
We were at both the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte and the Republican National Convention in Tampa, covering all the stories that mattered to you.
We'll cover the local races and, of course, the presidential election.
Our coverage continued 3 months later on election night. We produced 7 hours of live content covering the presidential election from all different angles. We had reporters at both Obama and Romney's campaign headquarters giving you updates throughout the night. Here in North Carolina, we had reporters covering the gubernatorial race with both McCrory and Dalton.
Here to report to you right now that both CNN and NBC are reporting that President Obama has won the 2012 election season.
The night was filled with number crunching, panels, and definitely lots of coffee. We brought you the results live as they came in and stayed on the air until all winners were announced. There had to be some political fun as well. Election winners celebrated at both the presidential and gubernatorial inauguration in January. From the state capitol all the way to Washington, D.C., ELN had them covered. Chick-fil-A is here to stay. A push to ban the fast food restaurant heated up at the beginning of the year. The LGBTQ group Spectrum introduced legislation to SGA asking for the removal of Chick-fil-A from campus.
Why is, the Chick-fil-A kind of scandal getting so much national attention? For Elon's campus, this needed to happen.
The issue seemed to split the student body, with groups emerging in support of the restaurant and others in opposition of having Chick-fil-A on our campus. ELN Local News was there to get the views from both sides of the issues as we followed the story through the SGA meetings, the veto, and the resolution. The debate on gun control echoed across the nation this past year, and here at ELN, after police say 18-year-old Alexis Gray came to ELN with a rifle, ammunition, and other weapons. Campus security apprehended Gray near the Danley Center. She was charged with felony possession of a weapon on a college campus. Coverage also continued throughout the year following the murder trial of incoming freshman Lauren Astley. Police say Astley was stabbed and strangled by her ex-boyfriend Nathaniel Fujita in July of 2011 before her arriving on campus. The jurors officially found him guilty in March, sentencing him to life in prison without possibility of parole.
We begin today with breaking news out of Boston.
Hours before ELN Local News was set to go live on April 15th, 2 bombs exploded at the finish line of the Boston Marathon. With 9% of ELN students from the Massachusetts area, ELN went to the field immediately to get reactions from students.
My dad works at the hospital, and he said they're bringing people there.
We spoke to a former ELN student who was in the area when the bombings went off, as well as a professor who lived just blocks from the bombings.
I'm Justin Beagle here with my partner Jamie Daffner to recap today's events in the Southern Conference Tournament.
ELN Athletics had a great year, but no team caught our attention more than the men's basketball team record season. With 21 wins, ELN was invited to play in the College Invitational Tournament. This would be the team's first postseason appearance in school history while being in Division I athletics. Although Elon lost in the first round to Canisius, playing in the tournament marked a major breakthrough of the men's basketball team and the entire Elon athletics program. And finally, we just can't get over this moment. We know he found success, but it has been a long road for Aaron Millett. After several months of training and praying, his dream of playing in the NFL finally came true. In the fall, Millett was tearing up the turf, racking up 97 catches for 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns for the Phoenix. After more training, it all came down to the last weekend in April. Millett was selected by the Baltimore Ravens with the 238th pick in the 7th round of the NFL Draft. We will continue with the recap of this year next on a special edition of Elon Local News. But for news throughout the week, check our Twitter at Elon Local News and make sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Elon Local News.
And make sure you check out our redesigned ElonLocalNews.com. Thanks for watching, and don't forget that we'll be back next week for our last live show of the year. But now, stay tuned for our special tribute to our seniors, without whom we would not be here today.